Hey there, I'm Adrienne, your go-to guide on this empowering journey to self-love and authenticity. I've transformed my own struggles into strengths, and now I help others navigate their path to their inner knowing and create personal fulfillment. On this show, we're not shying away from tough conversations. We're diving headfirst into topics like self-worth, overcoming limiting beliefs, challenging societal norms, and creating a life that's not just successful, but truly fulfilling. We're all about blending heartfelt, soul-searching chats with practical, actionable strategies. Think of this podcast as your trusty compass on the path to your most authentic life, mixed with a cozy fireside chat with a dear friend. Ready to uncover your true self and lead a life that's in sync with your deepest desires? You're in the right place, friend. Welcome to the Live Your Truth, Love Your Life podcast. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Live Your Truth, Love Your Life. I'm Adrienne, your go-to gal for all things life, love, and living in alignment. Last episode, we talked about making things that feel good to make. And today, we're unpacking another gem: why done is better than perfect. I wanted to do these episodes back to back because I think both are closely related. It's about letting go of expectations and taking imperfect action. Maybe you're thinking, hang on, shouldn't we strive for perfection? Well, let me paint you a picture. You're working on a project, hours turn into days, days into weeks. You keep refining, adjusting, waiting for that elusive moment when everything feels just right. But guess what? That moment never really comes. Sound familiar? It's that constant loop of striving, revising, and second guessing that can eat away our time and energy. Now, I've been down that rabbit hole so many times, but I've learned that there's beauty in moving forward, even with imperfections. So, when does striving for excellence become paralyzing perfectionism? When does it prevent us from launching that course, writing that book, or even hosting the event? Done is better than perfect. It's a mantra that's helped numerous entrepreneurs and creators break free from the shackles of overthinking. Let's break down the magic of this mantra, shall we? There are three key benefits to taking imperfect action, embracing done is better than perfect. The first thing is swift learning. Every time you complete a task or a project, you're presented with a unique learning opportunity. Feedback is a gift, and when we wrap things up, we open the door for this feedback to flow in. The second thing, you build momentum. There's an undeniable energy shift when we move forward. It's that feeling you get when you tick off goals, the energy surge, and the motivation boost. Once you do one thing, you keep going. It's easier to stay in action than it is to get into action, right? The third thing is mental liberation. Perfection can be mentally exhausting. When we decide to let go and embrace the done, our minds breathe a sigh of relief, making space for creativity to flourish. I want to share a personal story with you, and I briefly mentioned this in previous episodes. When I started this podcast, I was anxious about almost everything. I was worried about the audio quality, the topics I was going to cover, the way my voice sounded. But had I waited for perfection, we wouldn't be sharing this moment. It's proof that taking a step, however shaky, propels you forward. I decided going into this that unless I completely flubbed something, I wasn't going to edit it. So yeah, sometimes my cadence is awkward when I talk, my Boston accent's strong, I say a word wrong. I mean, the list could go on and on. The truth is, it's easy to pick ourselves apart. Super easy for me to do it. I used to strive for perfection in everything I did, especially everything related to school and achievement. But really, all I was doing was hustling for my worth. I believe I have high standards for everything I do, still. But part of my journey has been about discerning high standards versus creating insurmountable expectations that make it impossible to move forward. Letting go of perfection, specifically with this podcast, has been liberating. And you know what? Every episode, every interaction with all of you out there, it's been a learning curve, whether on the podcast, producing it, or on social media, whether it's my posts or the way that we interact. Some things work and some things don't. And that's okay. It's all part of the journey that I'm on. So you can't really talk about letting go of perfection, embracing done is better than perfect, without talking about the cost of perfectionism. I could do a whole episode on this. The cost of perfectionism Includes delayed projects, missed opportunities, burnout. When we're stuck in the perfection loop, we risk not only our dreams, but our well-being. Perfectionism will suck up your time and mental energy again and again until you decide perfect is not a realistic standard. So, how do we move from perfectionism to progress? A few strategies that I've found helpful include setting clear boundaries, and that might mean putting a time on the thing that you're doing. I have to have this done by next Friday. It may also include your work boundaries. I'm going to work on this every day from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. until next Friday, and then I'm going to roll with what I got. Another thing is having accountability partners. I'm part of Amy Porterfield's Momentum membership for entrepreneurs, and accountability partners are a really strong component of that program. I'll tell you, it's really great to have a group of people that you can set goals with, you can set intentions with, bounce ideas off of each other. But the real magic comes in knowing that you have to get back on a call with them either next week or whether you're doing it every other week, once a month. But you have to get back on a call with them and tell them your progress. Tell them whether you did what you said you were going to do or not. And knowing that you have to get on that call and give them that update, you're more apt to take action that moves you forward rather than get stuck in perfection and stay stuck with your actions. Last thing is celebrate every win. Probably sounds cliche, but again, it's easy for us to pick ourselves apart. That's almost automatic. But celebrating ourselves, that takes intention, that takes deliberate action. That doesn't come quite as easily as tearing ourselves apart, as criticizing ourselves. As we wrap this up, I want you to think of one thing you've been putting off because it's not perfect yet. Or maybe you're saying, hey, my standard isn't perfect. If that's you, then think about one thing you've been putting off because it's not good enough yet. I want you to consider, what step can you take towards completing it? Can you embrace the beauty of the imperfect and just see how it goes? So as we move into the weekend, embrace the messy, the imperfect, the in progress. In truth, it's in these raw, unfiltered moments that magic often unfolds. Until our next chat, remember to cherish every step, every lesson, and every imperfection. Here's to living our truth and loving every imperfectly perfect moment of our lives. That's it for today's episode, my friends. Thanks so much for joining me on the Live Your Truth, Love Your Life podcast. To get even more out of today's conversation, don't forget to swing by the show notes and download your freebie. Want to keep the conversation going? I'd love to hear what spoke to you most today. Head on over to my Instagram at Live Your Truth, Love Your Life and drop me a comment. I'm always excited to connect and learn more about you. Remember, the journey towards living your truth and loving your life is a rewarding one. New episodes are dropping each Monday and Thursday, and I can't wait for next time. Until then, have a fantastic week.